If you want to get yourself to a better place, then you should be able to say no. If you only pay the minimum payment on this credit card, this is how many years it's going to take for you to pay it off. So, how can I help you, Deborah?
So I have no background about financials like budgeting or anything like that. So uh, it's like everything, right?
First of all, are you in Canada? Where are you?
I am in McLennan, that is close to Grand Prairie in
Oh,
Alberta.
okay, okay. In
Yeah.
Alberta, okay. Tell me what you need and tell me how I can help you.
So I wanted to be like financially knowledgeable about everything. And then I wanted to know how I can use my credit card without overusing my limit, right? And I have some debts that I need to pay off, like it's 5,000, and I don't know how to do that. And my job, I work as a housekeeper, and I don't know how to budget that to pay it off on time. Yeah,
You work as a what?
a healthcare aid.
Healthcare aid, okay.
Yeah.
You have $5,000 in there. Tell me a little bit about your situation. You have family here or you're alone or what?
Yeah, I'm married. I have two kids.
And your income,
My income, I make about 50 a year.
about 50,000 a year.
Yeah,
Your spouse works.
yeah, he works.
Do you own a house or do you rent?
We own a house.
So your income is 50,000, about your husband's income is about the same, or how much is it?
Yeah, about 50 to 60 there. But since COVID came, his work is not really that much. He's an electrician, but now, yeah,
So his income is not stable, you're saying?
yeah,
Okay. So you guys mainly work with your income right now, or how does it
yeah,
work?
yeah. Right now, it's my income. He went back to school so that he can finish his electrical.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the $5,000 debt you have is on credit cards?
yes.
Do you have car payments? What payments do you have on a monthly basis?
We have car, we have the mortgage, and the bills. Yeah,
Yeah. And then your kids go to daycare or school?
yeah. They go to daycare.
Okay. So about how much do you spend on daycare on a monthly basis?
I pay about 1,000 for both of them.
1,000 together, for the two
Yes.
kids together. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to know how to pay off the
Yeah.
debt. But the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I hear you say is you don't budget, right?
Yeah.
That's where we need to start,
Yeah.
because the goal will be to find extra income to be
Mm-hmm.
able to pay off the debt.
Yeah.
But that extra income is probably somewhere already that you're not paying attention to. So
Mm-hmm.
it's first of all about looking at your situation and seeing what do I actually spend my money on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis,
Mm-hmm.
creating that level of awareness to know how you're spending your money, and
Yeah.
then to see the things that maybe are not necessary in your expenses.
Mhm.
Because I guarantee you, every single person spends money on something that is not necessary. I still do.
Yeah.
I still do. And so it comes down to, what sacrifices do I want to make in order to get the thing that I want to get?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if you have that debt, your first thing would be to, your first and foremost goal would be to pay it off, because you're paying interest on it every month. How much, what's your interest rate?
I'm not really sure. Maybe $50.
$50 is okay. So you have a $5,000 credit card.
Yeah.
Do you look at your statement when they send it to you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So on the statement, you normally charged interest, right?
Yeah.
So it shows you purchase interest and it shows you a percentage.
Mm.
It shows purchase interest and it shows a percentage. It's typically around 19% to 22%.
Yeah.
So if you're paying that much in interest, there are very few things that would pay you back that much as a return on your investment. Even if you wanted to say you want to invest the money, there are very few things that would pay you that much. So the first goal is to not have to pay that credit card interest. So even if you're using your credit card, is to
Yeah.
make sure that on a monthly basis you pay off the credit card so that you don't have that interest expense that you're paying to the bank.
Okay. So
So
that means every month I have to pay the minimum payment,
no, the full balance.
the full balance. Okay.
Yes, but I get it. Like right now, you already have 5,000 in debt. It's not like you
Yeah.
have 5,000 sitting somewhere that you're gonna take and go and pay that off.
Mm-hmm.
So your little step you have to do then is to look at your current situation.
Yeah.
If you just say look at your statement for like the past 1 month or the past 2 months and broadly categorize all the things that you've been spending money on.
Yeah.
So if you look through it, you might see, okay, you ate at restaurants, you did groceries, you did some shopping for yourself, for your husband, or anything like that. So if you put them into categories, then you would actually see this is how much I spend on food.
Mm-hmm.
This is how much I spend on restaurants. This is
Yeah.
how much I spend buying toys for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
This is how much. If you're like me, when you take the kids to the shop, they want something, right?
Yeah.
And
Always.
you always buy it.
Yeah. I
Okay.
always get something for them.
And when you buy that thing and you come back home with it, do they use it for a long time or they use it for some days and then they throw it away?
There's some
It's
days and that's it.
okay.
Yeah.
So why do you keep buying it?
I don't know. Just to please them.
But you cannot keep doing that, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it's really just because when we take the kids to the shop, like you said, you want to please them. And you
Yeah.
don't want to be that mom in the shop whose kid is shouting, Mommy, Mommy, I want this. So you just want to
Yeah.
get it for them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about creating some disciplines, letting the kids know, hey, you're not going to get it this time,
Yeah.
and creating that expectation from before. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable
Yeah.
sometimes, but if you want to get yourself to a better place, then you should be able to say no. And it's
Yeah.
not no forever, it's no for a while because you need to look at your budget, you need to look at your finances and
Mm-hmm.
see the places where you're spending too much money, where you don't need to be spending money,
Yeah.
so that when you start to save those little dollars here and there, that's extra money that you can use to pay off this $5,000 debt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's true. Yeah.
yes. So,
Yeah.
first challenge for you is to look at the last 2 months, for example, and just broadly categorize where your income, where your spending is.
Mm-hmm.
And this exercise is something ideally you should do with your husband if possible. Ideally, do it with him. So, both
Yeah.
of you, you're looking at your expenses as a whole and seeing where your money actually goes and doing that exercise.
Yeah.
Once you have done that, you've created awareness. Now you just need to look at it and say, hey, is this how we want to be spending our money?
Yeah.
And if it's a yes, then keep doing it. But I'm sure it's going to be a no.
Yeah. It will be no. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So if it is a no, now the thing is, which actions do you guys want to take in order to change your situation?
Mm-hmm.
You will have to start saying no, for example, to the kids for every time that you're buying something at the shop. It's not like you're not going to buy things for the kids, but the
Yeah.
things I'm talking about is those toys that every time you go to the shop, $10 here, you just buy, $20 here, you just buy, and you bring it home and they throw it away.
Yeah.
You start looking at things like that. Every time you say no, it's a check mark for you. It's like, yes, I saved $10 today. That's
Mm-hmm.
$10 that would have added my debt on my credit card, but I'm not spending that. So at the end of the month, I'm probably going to have a little bit more to pay off this debt.
Yeah.
Okay, so number one is the awareness. Number two is what do you want to do about it. Number three is you start doing those things between yourself and your husband. And then on the credit card itself, it's you're not paying just the minimum. Paying the minimum is basically you're paying the full amount of the interest plus about like $10 of the balance that you actually owe. So it's not going anywhere. If you open to the back page of your credit card statement, it's going to tell you if you only pay the minimum payment on this credit card, this is how many years it's going to take for you to pay it off.
Wow.
And so you want to ask yourself, is that how long you want to take to pay for $5,000? Is that the number of years you want to be in debt for? And that's assuming you stop using it.
Yeah.
But we're not going to stop using it. We're going to keep using it, right? So it's about like whatever number of years that you see behind there, you start to see this is how much more I have to add to it. So this is how long I'm going to be in this same position that I'm at.
Yeah.
And once you don't like the picture, you have to change it. So it's not the minimums that you need to pay. You need to pay more than the minimums. You need to look at your current situation and see where you can cut back on your expenses.
Yeah.
And then you see every single dollar, every single penny that you find, you start paying it towards the debt. The goal is to be able to pay your credit card off every month.
Yeah. So it is better to just pay it off like it was when you get the money, right? Like for me, when I get the full 5,000, or even if I get 1,000, I put it there. That's it. I don't have to pay the minimum.
Even if you get $20, put it there.
Yeah.
Every time you have extra, you put. Every time you have extra, you put. So that at one point it's paid off completely. And then every time that you start using the credit card, say if you're going to go to the shop and do groceries and your groceries will cost you $100.
Yeah.
Make sure you have the $100. You go and use your credit card and you pay back the $100 right away so that your credit card is always zero.
Okay.
That way, you're using your credit card to build a credit score.
Yeah.
But you're not staying in debt.
Okay.
And that's only if you need a credit score. Yeah. But you already have a house. So in terms of like a longer term plan, what are you looking at doing in the future?
The house we bought, it's in my husband's name, but we want to buy a house now in Grand Prairie because where we are, it's a small town and there's nothing here for us. So we want to move to Grand Prairie. We've been trying since last year to get there, but the limit they approved us wasn't good, so we had to wait again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that takes into account the fact that you guys are going to sell the house you're in right now to move into the new house in Grand Prairie?
We were thinking we don't want to sell it, but if we need to sell it, we'll sell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to sell the house you're in right now to move to the other one, what's the plan? You're going to put it on rent?
Yeah.
Are there lots of prospects for having tenants in the place where you're at?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then the essence of those questions is, okay, you're going to still need the credit score in the future. So you should be using your credit card properly.
Yeah.
So that it's building your credit score, but it's not keeping you in debt. Okay. Yeah. So your first thing, like I said, is create that awareness just between yourself and your husband. Look at where your money is going. And then decide what actions you're going to have to take in order to find the extra money to pay off this debt.
Yeah.
And keep paying your credit card. Start paying your credit card balance completely every single month, but don't wait to have the full money to start paying it. Every extra you have, you can pay. Every extra you have, you can pay. You can pay on your credit card every day if you want. There's no limit on how many times you can pay on your credit card.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for a statement to pay.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Is there any other question I could address for you?
Yeah, I have other question. I opened like for my kid the education account when they were still young, and the money they're just sitting in bank, and I don't know how to invest them. So, is there any advice you can give me?
So the money is sitting in you opened it directly with your bank account, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's probably sitting in a section which is called a savings deposit.
Yeah.
So you need to call the bank and tell them that you want to set up your investor profile. Once you set up your investor profile, then you can invest the money into different things. So now it depends on what the bank is going to offer you. The investments at the bank are not the best. I want to first start by saying that they are not the
Yeah.
best. There are lots of other options that are better at different places. Because the
Mhm.
thing is, the banks that you're at, they are kind of limited to only selling what they have. They push themselves to sell more of what they have. And so it's not always in your best interest what they're going to propose to you. It's more about what they have
Yeah.
that they're going to propose. And so if you're staying at the bank, then the first thing is to call up the bank and tell them you want to set up your investor profile. Once
Mhm.
they have set up your investor profile, they simply want to know the kind of investor you are. Are you the kind of person who, when the markets are going down, you will start panicking and be pulling out your money, or like what kind of person are you? Because when you pull out the money, you actually lose it.
Yeah.
But the point is, when your money is there and it starts going down, the tendency is, oh, I'm scared I'm going to lose my money. And so most people will want to pull it out.
Mhm.
So what the investor profile is they just want to know what kind of person are you? How do you react to situations when you see the market, however it's going?
Yeah.
So with all the answers that you're going to give them, they will set up the profile. And then now you can go ahead and instruct them to put the money into various investments. For kids, because this money is for your kids and
Yeah.
they will only need it when they're going into college. So maybe at the time they're 18 or 16 or whatever age that would be,
Yeah.
you might want to put the money into something which is called a target date fund.
Okay.
Yeah. So a target date fund matures. So it's
Okay.
yeah, a target date fund. Let's assume they're going to go to college in
Yeah.
2035, for example.
Yeah.
The bank might propose to you that they're going to invest your money in the year 2035 target
Mhm.
date fund. That means the time that the kids will need the money is at that time. And so they want to invest it in that fund such that it starts to, so it's set up in a way that minimizes the risk depending on how long you're going to have the money sitting in there with them. But they should
Yeah.
explain all of this to you. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a broker or anything. I'm just teaching you the things that I know based on what I have experienced already. So when you
Yeah.
call them, at least once you have this information, when they're explaining things to you, you know what they're talking about, you know the kind of questions that you're going to ask them. So
Mhm.
they might propose you mutual funds and lots of other things, but the most ideal one for what the banks have for those education funds is something called a target date fund. So check with them and see if that's something you want to put in. But if you
Yeah.
don't invest it, then it's just sitting in the savings deposit and
Yeah.
it doesn't do anything. It's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least on the positive side, whatever you put in, like the government is also putting in a certain amount. So it's you're benefiting from the fact that you're putting it in this RESP. The
Mhm.
government is contributing to it. But to make it grow even better is to invest it.
Yeah.
I hope I've been able to
Mm.
help you a little bit today. If you
Yeah.
wanted to go deeper, of course you can always go to my website and book like a private one-on-one coaching, which is like a 6-week program that I take people through, and then we go deeper into a lot of things. But this one, of course, it's a free session that I'm
Yeah.
doing for my community. So hope you've
Yeah.
got something from it.
Yeah. I'm working into that so that I can take the full course for it.
Okay.
And then because I really want to have knowledge about all of this stuff. Thank you so much. It's been good and so nice of you that you give a free 25 minutes, right? Yeah.